Now, all three of these knives are knives which I feel to be a good knife to carry out and about in the bush. There's some similarities and there's some differences. So I'm going to go over those quickly, then we'll get into doing some cutting tests. To start with, over here, Timberwolf, Gary Mills Timberwolf. This is a scandi Vex, technically, a scandi grind knife. The sort of thing that's been made highly popular by Ray Mears and Alan Wood. This one is roughly a 4-inch blade, 4-inch handle, curly birch, 01 tool steel, and it's been done by a stock removal method. Essentially, you take a piece of metal, grind away anything that's not a knife, drill a couple of holes in it, heat treat it, put the handles on, put an edge on it, give it a polish, and it's a knife. This one here, the Randall 18 5.5. Again, this one is 01 tool steel. This one's a bit different. It's forged and then ground. So they heat it up, smash it into shape with a hammer, and then grind it similar to this to get the final shape. This one's got a hollow grind. Now, hollow grind theoretically has potential to be made a lot sharper than other ones. So I'm interested in having a look to see how this one does. Over here, I've got a Weta, a recurve. This particular one is the GBK. Desert ironwood handles, 01 tool steel. The difference here is that this has got a 4mm blade. This one has a 1/4 inch or roughly 6mm blade. This one has a 5mm thick blade. The similarities, obviously all 01 tool steel, all roughly the same length, 4, 5.5, but really 5 when you get cutting edge because of the big coil in it. This one, 5.5, but when you take it into the recurve, it comes a little bit closer to 6. This one actually hasn't been quite finished yet. There's still a little bit of work to be done on it, but the edge is sharp enough to do the cutting on it. They're all saber ground to a certain extent, in that large portion of the blade is full tang thick steel. This one spear point, and it's got the saw teeth on the back. This one scandi, but a large portion of the blade is full tang thick all the way through. Same with this one, large portion of the blade is thick. These make the blades extremely strong, capable. Obviously you're not going to be chopping down trees with them, but they should be good at cutting things, and that's what we're going to find out today. What I'm interested in though is whether they're going to split things or cut them. So a good kitchen knife, which is a full flat grind, will just slice through things. These ones, the very thing that makes them strong, thick blades, lots of metal remaining, is the thing which may be their undoing, and that they may not actually cut very well. Now, you've all seen knives batten and do feather sticks. That's all very fine. I think a knife has to do food prep. A lot of what you're going to be doing is eating and cooking, hopefully, and so a good knife should be able to accomplish or assist in accomplishing those tasks. So let's start first of all with the Randall, the hollow grind knife, carrot. Well, it does cut, but as it gets to the bottom of the cup, the knife tends to split, doesn't cut cleanly. You can obviously turn the blade on its side and cut, but what I'm cutting for at the moment is food to go into some soup, and so I want nice chunks. Carrots, the zucchini, here it cuts a little bit better, seems to be going all the way through, nicely sliced. Mushroom shouldn't be much of a challenge, but still needs to cut cleanly, and here does actually rip and tear a little bit. potato. This will be potentially a challenge. It's actually cutting, and it's cutting all the way through. I thought it would tear and split. The potato seems to be soft enough, or the knife is doing well enough that it's actually cutting, cutting all the way through. Okay, finally, tomato test. Now, a good sharp knife, should just slice through. Does well on the tomatoes. Okay, Randall. Next, scandi blade. Tomato. Despite having a very short and stout blade, cuts tomatoes just fine. Zucchini. Yeah, not a problem with those. Carrot. Yeah, see, cutting most of the way through, but the stoutness of the blade means that it's just ripping it to shreds in the end. Mushrooms. No tearing, did rip one to pieces, but it may be more user error than anything else. Right, the Weta blade. The zucchinis. Formal blade here, so the thinness is going to assist. And I think it's just the overall geometry of it makes it a good slicer. It's going more gradually into that steep point, and of course being formal it doesn't get quite as high a point as the others. Okay, so this one's actually cutting, for the most part, all the way through, although there is still, as you can see or hear, a teeny bit of ripping. Chopping wood of it. Right. Potato for the scandi. So it's cutting. Did do a teeny little bit of ripping noise there, but it actually seemed to have cut all the way through. Right. Mushroom. Necklace. Potato. Okay, so for slicing, this is definitely the blade to choose. I mean, it's slicing through things just effortlessly. I think that's partly the geometry. By that I mean the recurve that big belly kind of assists. I also think the thinner blade gives it a bit of an edge, so to speak, as well. Right, life is not always about just vegetables. It's also about meat. So I want to see how these blades do. Cutting some steak. Okay, so this knife, yeah, it just eats through the meat. I mean, it was a knife designed in Vietnam for jungle use, also for attacking, and that blade, just devastation on the meat. Scandi, made popular by Ray Mears, used by the Scandinavian people for years, of course, before then. Ray Mears was interested in the knife, I believe, primarily for the ease of sharpening. You just move it back and forth like that, whereas the hollow grind knives, so other knives, you need to actually pay quite a bit of attention, sharpen them properly. So this slices through the meat, but not as well as that, even though this has got a thicker blade than this one. The hollow grind on the meat is just amazing. The Weta, yeah. Again, it's hard to tell. I may try and at some point get some knives together that have the same width and geometry and just put a different grind on each one, because the slicing in this is very good. But I've got to say, I think the Randall for the meat, the hollow grind, definitely is the winner there. For the vegetables is this one. There's no real benefit in this one. Didn't cut as well as these two. Didn't perform as well. This one, thinness of the blade, maybe the edge, maybe the geometry of the blade. This one, definitely the hollow grind, when you can use that hollow grind in something like meat where you're not pushing all the way through, just slicing through, it cuts amazingly. This one, probably because the angle's not quite as steep and doesn't go as thick, means that it doesn't split things as much as, say, this one, which very quickly gets full width, 5mm, and does tend to snap things apart. Not on everything. Still a good knife. This is probably, overall, the better food prep knife. Also, I think that curve in it would be beneficial in buttering bread and slicing bread. I haven't got any buns to try at the moment. What else can I say? This one is a new one for me. It's not quite finished yet. It's got a little bit more work to do on the handles, and the blade hasn't had a final buff yet, although it's sharp. Just needs a teeny little bit more work done on it. 9-degree spine. Good blade, desert ironwood, first time I've used that. Very comfortable, extremely hard wood, hence the name, I guess. Yeah, I think something about a recurve I really like. Some people complain that they're hard to sharpen. I don't think that